Hello everyone. I welcomes all of you to this lecture. So till now we have discussed about block diagram reduction, signal flow graph. These are the two important parts of this unit. Let's move towards the last part of this unit, that is a state space representation. Okay, so in this point we have to just see the basics about state space representation, means how the system can be represented with the help of a state and space. And what do you mean by state and space? That we have to see only, because on this point, on this particular point, there is one unit based upon state space analysis or state space methods. So that is the last unit that we have to see about this state space analysis and the examples on that. Okay, so in this unit we have to just see the basics of this. We are not going into so deep because there is one separate chapter on this point. Okay, so let us start with this state space representation. So what is the use of this state space representation? That we have to understand first. See, any system can be represented by its signal flow graph or block diagram. Okay, so what is the use of this block diagram reduction technique or the signal flow graph technique? It is just used, or these two systems are used for analyzing transfer function. So basically these two are the transfer function methods, where we get the LT of output divided by LT of input. So for transfer function analysis we are using that signal flow graph and block diagram reduction method. Okay, now what are the drawbacks of this transfer function analysis? That we have to see first, and then I will explain why the state space representation is important. So let us see drawbacks of a transfer function analysis. See, transfer functions or transfer function is defined under a zero initial condition. That is very important thing, because before analysis of this transfer functions we are considering all the conditions, initial conditions are at zero conditions. Okay, so no history is considered here, history of inputs we can say. Then transfer function approach can be applied only to linear time invariant system, that is LTI. So what do you mean by linear time invariant system? That we have discussed earlier. So transfer function approach can be applied only to linear time invariant systems. Secondly, it does not give any idea about internal states of a system. Okay, so what do you mean by state of a system? That we will see afterwards, don't worry. But there are some internal states of the system that are not considered while doing the analysis of a transfer function. Okay, next, it cannot be applied to multiple input and multiple output systems. So till now we have seen the transfer function analysis based on the single input and single output system. So there is only one input, that is RS, and output is as a CS. But there are number of systems which are having multiple inputs and multiple outputs. So under that condition, when the system is having multiple input and multiple output, there transfer function analysis cannot be used. So it is comparatively difficult to perform transfer function analysis on computers. Suppose you are having some softwares or some design tools or analysis tools are there. So it is so difficult to perform the transfer function analysis on that computers. For example, you are using a MATLAB, and then it will be very difficult for you to do that analysis. So these are some transfer function analysis that we have discussed basically, which are measures. So that's why we need some different technique of analysis of a system that should be utilized, and that is nothing but your state space analysis, which is also called as state variable analysis. So which are the advantages of state variable analysis? So the first is it can be applied to non-linear systems as well. So it can be applied to linear as well as non-linear systems. it can be applied to time invariant systems. Okay, then it can be applied to multiple input and multiple output systems. So this is the most important advantage of a state space variable analysis, because there are number of complex systems which are actually used, which are having multiple inputs and multiple outputs. So there LTI is insufficient or incapable of handling the analysis of that system. So that's why the multiple input multiple output systems analysis can be done with the help of state space analysis. Okay, so this is the most important advantage that you have to keep in mind, and we will discuss this how it is going to be handled. It gives idea about the internal state of the system. So this is the most important parameter, that is the internal state. So what do you mean by state, that we will see afterwards, but it gives the idea about internal state of the system, that is very very important while doing the analysis of any system. Okay, now let us see basic terminologies which can be used or which are used in state space representation. Okay, so before covering the basics of the system, we have to see the basic terminologies that we are going to use. The first is a state. So what do you mean by state? State is a group of variables which summarizes the history of the system in order to predict the future values or the outputs. Okay, so suppose you are having one system, okay, and you suppose you have one summary of the history of the system inputs or variables, we can say, which can be used to predict the future values. So such a state of a history of the system variables can be called as a state. Okay, means what? Suppose you have applied some input, and previously before t is less than t is greater than 0. Okay, and based upon that, suppose you have got some outputs or results, and if you have such a set of system variables or a history of the inputs and its behavior, and from which you can predict the output, that can be called as a state. So again I am repeating, it is a group of a variable which summarizes the history of the system in order to predict the future values or outputs. So it is just a history of the system variables which can be used to predict the future values, okay, or outputs. So when we will take actually example based upon that, then you will understand what do you mean by state. Don't worry, just to see these terminologies while solving the examples, you will understand correctly what do you mean by state. Okay, so state variable, the number of state variables required is equal to the number of storage elements present in the system. So state is nothing but a group of state variables, we can say. And what do you mean by that state variable? That state variable is nothing but a storage element present in the system. Okay, now with respect to electronics and telecommunication branch or this field, you must know the very basic elements which can be used to store the energy. Okay, if you are clear with your basics, then you will understand what I am going to tell you. So if you see the storage element which are available in electronics, okay, so these are basically your capacitors and inductors. So these are called as a storage elements. Okay, so what is the use of a capacitor? It is used to store the charge. Okay, so that is very important. So capacitor is used to store the charge or hold the charge. So this is also one basic storage element. And if you take a inductor is also used to store the energy in the form of its magnetic fields. Okay, so sometime if you say inductors can be called as a current storing element. Okay, so I think you got this. If you are having your basics clear. Okay, so state variable in this case are the number of state variables which are nothing but storage elements. Okay, so the number of state variables required is equal to the number of storage element present in the system. Okay, so state is a group of state variables, and if you take one example of that state variable, it can be a storage element like a capacitor or inductor. For example, current flowing through the inductor can be one state variable, and voltage across capacitor can be one state variable, because current flowing through the inductor is nothing but the energy stored by the inductor, or a current stored by the inductor in the form of its electromagnetic field. Similarly, the voltage stored by the capacitor is nothing but the energy stored by the capacitor, or the charge stored by capacitor across its plates. Okay, so if you are not clear with your basics, please see how the capacitor and inductors are storing the energy. On YouTube you can see a number of videos are there. Okay, so please see that how the capacitor or inductor can be used to store the energy. Okay, so these are the basic terminologies. So again we have to see next term, that is a state vector, which is very important. So it is a vector which contains the state variables as a element. So state variables matrix can be called as state vector, we can say. So it is a vector which contains the state variable as a element. Okay, because if you see there are number of state variables are there, so we have to represent them in the form of vectors and matrices. So that's why it is a vector which contains the state variable as a element. Okay, in the earlier chapters we have discussed two mathematical models of the control system. Those are the differential equation model and a transfer function model. Okay, so in earlier chapter we have seen this differential equation model and a transfer function model. So you can see my previous lectures. So this state space model can be obtained from any of these two mathematical models. Okay, so this state model can be obtained from differential equation model, and it can also be obtained with the help of a transfer function model. So that we have to see in upcoming slides. Don't worry, I will show you how the state vector can be represented with the help of a differential equation or a transfer function. Okay, so this is a basic about the state variable and state vector. So state is nothing but a history of the system, parameters to predict the future values. So state variable is nothing but a storage element, and state vector contains the state variable as a elements. So we will see that in terms of equations. So to understand the state space representation, you have to understand this thing very correctly, that is storage element, because these storage element are responsible to do our space analysis. Okay, because these are the states of the systems, these are having some states of the systems. Okay, so if you see this diagram, the input, a number of input variables, so it is a number of input variables we can say, and there are b number of output variables, and suppose there are c number of state variables. Okay, so these state variables are nothing but what? Your storage elements like capacitor and inductor. If there is no any storage element like capacitor or inductor, the system can be easily represented by transfer function methods or signal flow graphs that we have seen earlier. But these two systems are not taking consideration of some dynamic parameters correctly, or we are not getting correct output. So that's why we have to move towards the state space analysis. Again I am repeating, if the system doesn't have any state variables like inductor or capacitor or storage element we can say, then the system will be very simple, that is you have to apply the inputs, and as per the transfer function you are getting the outputs. Okay, but here there is need to consider these state variables. So as we have discussed earlier, these are the output variables, that is y1t, y2t, y3t up to ybt. Okay, so what are the input variables? Input variables are u1t, u2t, u3t up to uat. Okay, because there are a number of input variables, and the output variables are up to b, so that's why it is from y1t to ybt. And the state variables or storage elements we can say x1t, x2t, x3t up to xct. Okay, so this is the basic representation of a system. So let us see one simple state model for your understanding how the state space representation can be done with the help of some equation, or that how that equations are derived, that we have to see. Okay, so for that we have to see multiple input multiple output system. Okay, so that's why while a representation for doing a representation of this state space variable, I have taken this example as a multiple input multiple output system. MIMO stands for multiple input multiple output systems, because it is having multiple inputs like this U1t U2t, and multiple outputs like this Y1t Y2t, and the states are X1t and X2t. So for your understanding, I have taken just a simple system which are having two inputs, that is Y1 U1t U2t, two outputs Y1t Y2t, and two state variables or two states, that is X1t and X2t. Okay, now we have to represent this system in the form of an equation, and ultimately we are getting some equations that we have to see. So if you see carefully this state model, this output, suppose you want to calculate, so this we have to Y1 we have to calculate based upon these inputs and these states. So here it is very important to understand that this single output should be computed or calculated based upon these all inputs and all the states. Okay, similarly we have to calculate this Y2 based upon this all inputs and all the states. Okay, so this you have to understand. So what we are going to do, let me explain first this. In the state model, what we are going to do, we have to obtain the output equation first. Okay, so output equation we have to calculate based upon in terms of Y1t or Y2t, we can say. Okay, so let us see first how the output equation is calculated, and then I will show you how the state equations can be calculated. So agenda of our this state model representation is we have to calculate the output equation first, and secondly we have to calculate the state equation, because we are doing a state space analysis, and these parameters or these two equations are very important for analysis of a state space. Okay, so let us see the output equation first. See, as I have discussed earlier, we have to compute this Y1t, that's the first output, this first Y1t or first output, based upon all the state variables as well as all the inputs. Okay, so if you see this first equation, I have mentioned X1t X2t, that is states. Similarly I have mentioned U1t and U2t, that is inputs. Again I am repeating, for calculation of this single output, that is Y1t, you have to consider all the states and all the inputs. Okay, so that's why I have mentioned X1t X2t U1t and U2t. It is with respect to Y1, but there are another parameters which are present here. So for X1t and X2t I have mentioned here C11 and C12. So what is the meaning of this C11 and C12? These are the coefficients of this particular states. So what do I mean by coefficient? That we will see afterwards while solving the actual example. Okay, just see how I am deriving this equation. Similarly, these inputs are also having some coefficients. Okay, so that's why the first input coefficient is D11 and second input coefficient is D12. Okay, so this similarly, if you see this X1 coefficient, that is a C11, and X2 coefficient is C12. See this one we are taking C1 here, C1 we have taken here, C1 we have taken, this one is taken for this Y1. Okay, and this one is taken for this X1, and this 2 is taken for this X2. This you have to keep in mind. So this C11 is for first output, and for this first X1t. Similarly, for this C12, this one is for Y1t and this 2 is for this X2. Similarly, we have taken here D11 and D12. So this one is representing here first output, and this first and this first is represented for Y1t and Y2t. Okay, so similarly this we have calculated. Now Next thing that we have to do is that we have to see y to t, output for a y to t. Now I think you have got the idea about this, how to calculate y to t. Again, this y to t can be calculated for all the inputs and all the states. Means what? We have to include this all the states and all the inputs. In our example, we have taken 2 inputs and 2 states. That's why we have to mention there these 2 states. So, okay. So see here how I have calculated. If you understand this y1t, then you will easily calculate y2t. So if you see this y2t, it is C21 now, because this 2 is for what? This y2. So this C21 into x1 plus C22 into x2t plus D21 u1t plus D22 u2t. Okay, so see the how this multiplication is done. So again, this x1t and x2t as the states are present here, and this u1t and u2t as the inputs are present here, and this c21 and c22 are the particular coefficients of x1t to x1t and x2t respectively. Similarly, this d21 and d22 are the coefficients of u1t and u2t respectively. Okay, so these two, everything where there is 2 coefficients, 2 is represented for this y2 or a second output we can say, and this one particularly represented for this x1t and x2t. Okay, so this is very important. Now if you see this matrix, it is represented like this. This is y1, this is y2. Then if you see, this C11, C21, C12, C22, these parameters or coefficients I have taken as a simple matrix, another matrix, and this x2 and x1 and x2 are represented here. Okay, so see carefully, these are the outputs y1t, y2t. These are the coefficients we have taken in this matrix, that is a C11, C12, C21, C22, and these are the x12 and x22 are the states, plus we have taken these coefficients, that is a d11, d12, then d21, d22 as a different matrix multiplied to u1t into u2t, that is a inputs. Okay, so again we will see how the matrix is explained here. So this is the y1t, y2t. Okay, so these parameters will increase as the number of outputs increases and this number of states and inputs increases. So these are the coefficients which are multiplied to the states, plus these are the coefficients multiplied to the inputs. Okay, so how this equation we can obtain, that I want to explain. So this is a C11 into x1t, okay, plus C12 into x2t. So this multiplication is like done like this: C11 into x1t, C12 into x2t, plus this is d11 into u1t plus d12 into u2t. Similarly, see this C21 into x1t, C22 into x2t, that is done here, plus d21 into u1t plus d22 into u2t. So the multiplication is done like this. So suppose if you want to obtain this yt, that is output equation that we have to obtain here, this yt is equal to cxt plus dut, that is represented here. Now you need to understand what do you mean by c. C is nothing but these coefficients, plus d is nothing but these coefficients. So in this way we have obtained the output equation. Okay, so yt is represented by cxt plus dut. C are the coefficients of the xt and d are the coefficients of ut. Okay, so in this way this output is represented in terms of states plus inputs presents. Okay, so this is the basics about this state space analysis. Okay, now it has not completed yet. The one more thing that we have to calculate is that we have to calculate state equation now. Okay, we have calculated output equation. Now we have to calculate the state equation now. That is very important. Okay, let us see how the state equation can be obtained. So state model is nothing but calculation of two equations. One is a output equation and another is a state equation. Okay, so see, let us see how state equation is calculated. So state equation is calculated like this. See, it is taken as a dx1t divided by dt. Okay, so whatever the x1t that we have taken here, that is given like this: dx1t divided by dt is equal to x1t, and dot is given on the top of that. Okay, in some books bar is given, and in some books dot is given. Okay, that you have to consider. So x1t is equal to what? a11 x1t plus a12 x2t plus b11 u1t plus b12 u2t. Now here x1t x2t and this u1t u2t remains as it is, but just coefficients have changed here. Okay, why we are doing like this, that we will see in last unit. Okay, so don't worry, just see how the calculation is done. So dx1t divided by dt is equal to x1t dot is equal to a11 x1t plus a12 x2t plus b11 u1t plus b12 u2t. Okay, so these are the coefficients a11, a2, a12 are the coefficients of x1 and x2 respectively, and b11 and b12 are the coefficients of u1t and u2t respectively. Here if you see, dx2t divided by dt is equal to x2t dot is equal to a21 x1t plus a22 x2t plus b21 u1t plus b22 u2t. Here a21 and a22 are the coefficients of x1t and x2t. Similarly, b21 and b22 are the coefficients of u1t and u2t. Okay, so here if you compare this state equation with output equation, these parameters are same, that is x1t x2t and u1t u2t. These are parameters are same. This is the state and this is the input, and just these parameters are changed here. In output equation, here we were having C, here we were having D, but that is replaced by A and B. Okay, so if you want to represent this matrix, it will be represented like this: x1 dot t, x2 dot t is represented in terms of this matrix, this A coefficient into states plus B coefficient into inputs. Okay, so similarly if you want to represent in terms of equation, suppose this x1 dot t can be given by a11 into x1, that is given here, plus a21 into x2, that is given here, plus b21 into u1t plus b12 into u2t. Similarly, if you see this x2 t dot, it can be given by like this: a21 into x1t, that is given here, into a22 plus a22 into x2t plus b21 into u1t, that is given here, plus that is b22, that is u2t, b22 into u2t, that is given here. Okay, so just like this it is represented. So the state equation is nothing but d by dt of these states, particular states x1t x2t state variables, and it is given like this: xt dot is equal to a xt plus but. Okay, here a is coefficients of xt, b are the coefficients of ut, and if you see, these coefficients are different for output equation and different for state equation, but this state parameters and this input parameters remains as it is, and how to calculate that we have seen. Okay, so this is the simplest model of a state that we have represented. So modeling of the state is nothing but deriving the output equation and deriving the state equation. So this is our state equation, this is equation number 2, and this is our output equation, that is equation number 1. So equation number 1 is for output and the equation number 2 is for state. Okay, so we have derived here two equations, output equation and state equation. Okay, so this is all about the state space model. Okay, so please go through this lecture again, because it may be a little bit difficult for you to understand. Okay, But in this part or in this unit only, we have to see the basics of the state space representation, because there is one another separate chapter for that. So in next lecture we will see one simple example which will represent how that state space representation can be done with the help of a differential equation or a transfer function. Okay, and after that our chapter will be over. Okay, so if you have any doubts you can ask me. So today we will stop here. See this see this video or a lecture again to understand in deep. Okay, and if you have any doubt you can ask me. Thank you very much.